Today we're going to talk about our honest opinion about what we think about Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at Walt Disney World. So stick around with us to check it out.
So we hadn't ridden Seven Dwarfs Mine Train in quite a while, but on our most recent trip we did ride it again. And to be honest, we were not huge fans of it, actually. We just kind of felt like it left a lot to be desired. It's not a bad ride by any means, it's decent, but it seems like it's such a popular ride, and we were kind of left wondering, like, why is this so popular? Because I don't know, we weren't super impressed by the roller coaster part of it, and I felt like there was not nearly enough of the time with like the little animatronics with the cottage. Like I don't know, I just felt like we just kind of blew right past that. So I don't know, we weren't huge fans of it, but it's not a bad ride. But
yeah, I think that with what they had and what they did, it's like you said, it's not bad.
Right.
I don't know. I think we don't understand, like you said, why everyone thinks it's so amazing.
Yeah.
There's a lot to like about it, I think, but like you said, the roller coaster part of it is not that thrilling, and I get that it's a little bit more of like a family oriented ride, right, which is fine. We have small children, so like we appreciate that.
Right.
But I don't know. I just feel like kind of like what you were saying was, you get to see the cottage scene at the very end of the ride, but depending on where you are at on the roller coaster, you really don't get to see a whole lot. And so, like, if they had a section of the ride that maybe you went a little bit slower and then you ramped up to like have the roller coaster go like faster and go over some more track, like that could have been a little bit more enjoyable, but it just seems a little disjointed. Kind of like what they did where you go through the mountain and you see the Seven Dwarves at work, like it's a little bit of a slower pace, and if there was another section of you had like kind of stop and go like between the fast pace and then you slow down to check out the scene, and like we feel like that would have been a little bit better.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I think that in theory the theming of the whole mine train roller coaster with the dwarves down in the mines, like that's cool.
Yeah, I
like it in theory. I think in practicality, I don't feel like the story of Seven Dwarfs really lends itself to a roller coaster. I felt like the actual mine train part of it felt too much like Big Thunder Mountain, but less thrilling. And then there wasn't enough of the actual storytelling that I felt like I would have rather just had the Snow White dark ride like they have at Disneyland, and then have Big Thunder Mountain for the mine train. Like, I didn't need them combined, because I felt like you kind of get a little bit less than Big Thunder Mountain, but then you get a little bit less than the Snow White's adventure. So I don't know, I felt like you kind of got gypped on that one on both ends of like, you're not getting a cute dark ride that tells the story, but you're also not getting like a really fun roller coaster. I don't know, maybe that's just my opinion, but I was not super impressed by it, and like I said, I wanted to see a lot more of like the cottage and the animatronics with the dwarves, and like there just wasn't very much of that. So I definitely felt like I got gypped on that part of it as far as the story part.
Yeah, and I would agree. I think that's really what's lacking, because I think you hit the nail right on the head, because it's not a super amazing roller coaster in and of itself. So you really don't have that to enjoy as fully as maybe what you would like. But then also with the story, you don't really get a whole lot of that either. And so it just is almost like they try to do a little too much and just threw it all together. And that's kind of what we ended up with, which, again, it's not a bad ride.
Right.
And there's a lot of good to like about it. It just, in our opinion, it kind of falls a little bit flat.
Right.
And we wish that maybe there was an area that they could have put this ride and made it a bigger ride or a longer ride that could have really given the attention that it needed to. Yeah. And that would have been something that we think would have been really good, but it is what it is, and we still enjoy it. Yeah. And our oldest daughter enjoyed it and thought it was great, and so that's good. And it is a family-oriented ride, so that's fun.
It's a cute ride. I think for me, I don't understand like all the hype about it of
Right.
like why it's like, you know, that's the lightning lane that sells out first. Like everybody wants Mine Train, and I personally don't understand like why it's so popular, other than it's just like kind of the only like roller coaster in that particular. I don't know. I don't really understand it. So I like the ride. I think it's fun. We will ride it again with our kids because it is a fairly tame roller coaster that younger kids can ride. And you do have that, you know, the princess in it. So that's enticing for little girls especially. But so I'm sure we will ride it again.
Yeah.
But it's not one that's like a top 5 ride for me at Disney World.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think if we're gonna have to wait, like if you don't buy a lightning lane, you're gonna have to wait
Right.
for a ride. That is not one that I really want to wait for.
Right. No.
So again, not bad, but
Yeah.
just not great. And all in all, I would say if we had to give it a rating, I probably would give it like a 5.
Yeah.
And as we've said, like 5 is kind of average. So don't come and hate on us in the comments, but
Yeah.
we do want to hear your opinion. You know, what
Yeah.
do you think? What would you
Right.
rate this ride? And
Or if you're somebody that like it is one of your top 5, what is it about that ride that makes it that for you? Because maybe it's something that we just missed.
Yeah.
You know, where you can't see everything, you can't appreciate everything. So we would love to hear more of your thoughts on like why you love this ride.
yeah, so leave those in the comment, and we would love to talk about it some more with you. But
Yeah, I think I'm in the same place as you. I would give it a 5, maybe a 5.5, just because I think it's fairly average as far as, you know, it's a decent ride. There's nothing overly crazy about it. There's nothing bad about it. It's a standard ride, and I think it's good. I might give it just, you know, that extra half a point just because, again, it's a roller coaster that especially for little kids would feel like a really big roller coaster. So for a smaller kid that is tall enough to ride it, that could seem like a really big thrill ride. So I would give it just that little extra nudge, but as an adult, I would say it's solidly a 5.
yeah, and I agree with you. I think as I think about it a little bit more, that giving it a little bit higher rating because of what they do have in the ride is good, because they do have some of the animatronics, and the sights and the scenes are good for what they are, and so
Right.
it should be a little bit above average. So I might even change mine to a 5.5 or even a 6, just because that the theming of what they do have in the ride is good.
Sure.
But kind of like what you said, if it's for an adult who really wants a good thrill ride, then I would still probably give it a 5.
Right. Like if I know I probably said this a little bit or something similar earlier, but if I had the choice between riding Mine Train or riding the Snow White dark ride that they have at Disneyland, I would choose the dark ride every time. Like, just because I feel like they tell the story so well in that. And I like roller coasters, but I don't find Mine Train to be a super fun roller coaster. Like, it's just okay. So I'm okay to not do the roller coaster part to actually get the good storytelling and the visual experience of the animatronics and the story of it. I would much rather have that personally.
Well, yeah, no, and I agree. I think it would have been nice if, because, you know, they took out our version of the Snow White ride to,
Right.
kind of replace it with this roller coaster, and it would have been nice to get the updated version of what they have in Disneyland, like keep that at Walt Disney World, and then do some other type of ride
Right.
that doesn't have to be Big Thunder, but some other roller coaster. I don't know, maybe it could have been another princess that could have gotten that ride, but just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do one thing right over here with the dark ride, do another thing right over here with the roller coaster, and don't try to mix the two and
Right.
do it kind of
Kind of
halfway.
seems like cutting corners. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we feel like with the space that they had and what they were trying to accomplish, like
Yeah.
it was just a lot to try to cram into that space, and it just kind of is so for us. But
Yeah.
we know a lot of people love it, and that's
Yeah.
fine. You know, everyone is entitled to their opinion, and this is just our honest review of it and what we think. We know it's unpopular because many people think it's great, but it's not a bad ride. We enjoy it.
So if you enjoyed hearing our thoughts about Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, feel free to like and subscribe and stick around to hear more of our thoughts on other rides and get our reviews of other Disney hotels and resorts and just some other Disney content. But if you'd like to stick around, please check out this video.